Hey folks, welcome to another episode of The Proffer. I've been going through all my old case folders, and within the case folders, I have reports of investigation of crimes that I worked on. Some of it is also just intel that I picked up from paid informants, people in prison looking for court consideration, just intel from wherever I could get it. Some of it's corroborated, some of it's not. So anybody mentioned in these reports isn't necessarily guilty of any crime, so just keep that into consideration. Some of the information is pretty cool. A lot of the players that are involved, I didn't do full investigations on because I passed the intel on to, let's say, a homicide squad or a precinct detective squad. But one that came up I think is pretty interesting. It involves the music industry, and I'm just going to read a little bit from it. There was a homicide back on December 29th of 2004 at the Latin Quarter. And the informant who called said that Ja Rule had a private party at the VIP room in the Latin Quarter, which was located at 47th and Lex. I don't know if anyone remembers that place. Benzino was present at the event. Members of Ja Rule's security detail were present, including Son. And if you ever heard me speak about Son is alleged to have shot 50 Cent on the hit that was issued by the Supreme Team. And another member of the security detail, a male named Omega, who was never identified. And at approximately 3:45 in the morning, Ja Rule was whisked outside of the club by his entourage. And shortly after that, there was a shooting between several males. We know it's alleged that Son was present for the shooting. One person ended up dead. So that's the first information I got on it. We got Benzino hanging out at Ja Rule's party. There's an argument somewhere along the line, and one male ends up dead, and I passed that information on to the local detectives. So here's a little bit more on it. I got a call from somebody in the Witness Protection Program, and they stated that Rob Lyons, a.k.a. Son, is Ja Rule's bodyguard. He stated that Murder Inc. employee B.J. Bryant is very tight with the rap artist T.I., and he further states that Ja Rule and T.I. are close as well. And the source stated that T.I. is presently in Atlanta and is doing very well with record sales. Now, this is back in 2004. And this ties into the Latin Quarter shooting. And then I'm going to go on. I have another report that states the source is not in a position to testify and wishes to remain anonymous. But he stated that a man known as Soul is from Brownsville but hangs in the Pink Houses, and he regularly visits the Heritage Barbershop on Rockaway and Blake. The source further stated that Soul is the cousin of Ja Rule's manager and bodyguard Son. And this source is going to try to find out where Soul is staying. And again, this is in regards to the shooting and murder at the Latin Quarter. So, getting back to T.I., apparently this incident has to do with, again, with T.I. and the Latin Quarter. The source, this is interesting, maybe you guys can help me find out who these people are. The source stated that Nitti and Web set up T.I. to be robbed. Nitti is known to me as, his real name, kind of a strange name, is Makayo Parrott. And so apparently Webb and Nitti, a.k.a. Makayo Parrott, had something to do with what was going on that evening. All right, and finally, not to bore you, but this is actually pretty, this report's filled with a lot of information. So the source states that Billy Bang, prior to his death, went on a rampage robbing people. The source had a conversation with his friend who said that Billy had robbed rap artist Alchemist and T.I. Alchemist is a West Coast guy. I think he was affiliated with Cypress Hill, if I'm not mistaken, and the guys from Mobb Deep in Queens. The source stated that when Billy robbed T.I., he didn't even show his gun. And he stated that Billy took thousands of dollars worth of jewelry and a mink coat from T.I. And the source stated that he'll find out who else was robbed and where the incidents occurred. And apparently T.I. recently appeared on Alchemist's album, so maybe that's why they were all together. The source goes on to say that he was familiar with Soul, and Soul grew up with Rob Lyons, aka Son, and they're very close. I think Soul was arrested for carjacking a while back and was associated with Murder Inc. And the source stated that Chris Gotti of Murder Inc. took a liking to Soul and took care of him. And Soul apparently was in the 2001 video for Ja Rule called Living It Up. The video was shot in a hotel, and I think Soul had a pretty prominent role in that video. He's in the video, I think, wearing a bathrobe. He does some kind of cameo. So all these things have to do with a group of guys that were associated with different incidents involving, T.I., parties at these different clubs that the extortion guys come in and take their stuff, and then you have to imagine what happened afterwards when these guys went to their muscle and wanted their stuff back, or a guy visiting from out of town is probably going to let it go, but anybody local might step up their game and try to get stuff back. But anyway, that's just a little bit of info, a little bit of intel. Like I said, nothing is corroborated. All this information was passed on to precinct detective units that were investigating various acts of violence. And then a lot of the stuff was, put in folders for future use if we, found out that anybody was investigating these people or they came across our radar. So thanks for checking in. If you know any of these players, any stories on Benzino, Rob, aka Son, Omega, BJ Bryant, Soul, Nitti, Web, Billy Bang, let me know. Put it in the comments. And again, if anyone was mentioned in these reports and they don't think something that was said was true, please reach out. I'm not looking to put things on you. This is just information, and it's interesting. So thanks for tuning in. And again, I have stuff coming up where I'm going to name some big name rappers who were victims of extortion by different players, got robbed at different events, things like that. Everyone seems to be interested in that kind of stuff. So we'll take a look at it, and you can be the judge. Thanks for checking in.